What's up, everyone? We are finally responding all the questions that you filled out on the form. I want to do this more often, probably once a month, or I will see how it is. And if you like it, let me know so I can do it more often. Now, this is very important to me because sometimes I fail to actually respond to everyone that DMs me. I try to, but it's really hard since we have many members, and therefore it's easier to actually put the form. You put your questions and then I make a video and respond to everyone. So let's start. Okay, so first question, how do you calculate percentage? How do you calculate percentage? When you enter a trade, what I personally recommend, but this is of course your choice, is to risk between 0.5 and 1%. Now, for example, if we would enter this position on JPY with stop loss here, it means that if we go to stop loss, we are losing either 0.5 or 1%. And if you have a one-to-one restored ratio, it means that, let's say we are risking 1%, okay, just to understand. If you go to stop loss, you lose 1%. If you go to take profit, you make 1% on your account. Now, if your risk reward is 1 to 2, it means that if you go to stop loss, you lose 1%, but if you go to take profit, you make 2%, okay, and so on. If you have 1 to 3 restored ratio, you make 3% if we hit your take profit. So this is how. Do you always wait for breakout structure to enter, whether it's to the downside or upside? I usually prefer to wait for confirmation on lower timeframes. Therefore, yes, a breakout structure. Now, not 100% of my trades. Sometimes I just execute with pending order at the zone. If the zone is very good. For example, here I'm waiting for lower timeframes confirmation. But if this was a very good zone, then I might just enter, I don't know, either at the 50% of the supply or at the beginning of supply, let's say at the 50%, we stop loss above the zone, okay? And that's it. Can you give us a copy of your watch list? My watch list changes every week. These are the pairs that work best with my strategy, from CAD/JPY to AUD/USD right here. But of course, it works also on all other pairs. These are just the ones that I prefer. Now, my watch list really just changes depending on what opportunities there are for that particular week. And I prepare on weekend, of course. Does the currency strength meter matter that much? No, it doesn't. It was just an extra confluence. I don't really look at it that much. What are some tips to grow small accounts? Some tips are to use consistent risk management. Don't try to flip it. Focus on percentage gains. And then honestly, when you're consistent with your percentage gains, let's say you're making between 5 and 15% per month, which is already pretty consistent and pretty good, then you should try a funding challenge, probably FTMO or what you like, basically, to trade with more capital. Trading is not about making more percentage with small accounts. It's about making good percentages, but not huge, with bigger accounts. So funding challenges are good. Then we have, please explain to me how to read the trend right, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly. I'm so confused. This is a problem because you need to have a time frame of reference. In the course, I teach you which is my time frame of reference, which is between the 4 hours and 1 hour. I use from the 4 hours to 1 hour to get my direction of the market, and then I execute accordingly. Now, if you look at the monthly, of course, the monthly might be bullish, the weekly might be bullish, the daily might be bearish, the 4 hours might be bearish, and then it's all a mess. And then maybe you go to the 1 minute and the 1 minute is bullish, and you don't have a time frame of reference. You need to have your time frame of reference for the direction of the market. Now, I tell you what I use, and as I told you already, is the 4 hours and 1 hour for direction. But you can use, of course, a different time frame of reference depending on your style. If you are more a swing trader, maybe you use the weekly and daily as time frame of reference for your direction of the market. or if you want to scalp more, maybe use the 1 hour and 30 minutes for the direction of the market and then execute the trades on lower time frames like the 1 minute. But if you try to use all of them, I don't think you have a good reference, a good time frame of reference, and therefore you get confused. And also, when there are several order blocks, which one do you choose? You should watch the 2.0 course. I use premium and discount to select better order blocks and exclude some others. But at the same time, I will share during February. Right now is, I don't know when you will watch this video, but right now is 26th of January. So soon in February, I will share my backtesting file. And in the backtesting file, you will see exactly which zones are better for me. So you will be able to select better OBs. Now, of course, OBs are just your zone of interest, your point of interest, but it doesn't mean that you will for sure execute from that area. In the Discord, I send many key areas daily, but it doesn't mean that we will just take the trade immediately. In order to confirm, unless it's a very good area and like it's perfect, it's with the trend, it meets all of our criteria. Unless that, then we need to wait for lower time frames confirmation that we are actually rejecting that area to enter the trade. Supply and demand strategy with FIB, can it work on Bitcoin? It can work on Bitcoin, yeah. The risk that you take for different setups and entry combination, I believe I told you on the 2.0 course, depending on the setup, which is my risk. If many people still have doubt about this, I will make another video about it. But usually I go either with 0.5 or 1% risk. And this really depends on how good the setup is. So for example, if it's an A or B setup, I go with full risk, which is 1%. If I don't have confirmation and I'm just entering with a pending order, maybe I go with half risk, okay? How do you notice if we're breaking levels or we are filling liquidity? This really depends on your understanding of liquidity and market structure. If you still have doubts about this, you should go over the course again and look at market structure and liquidity videos. Liquidity is very, I wouldn't say obvious, but you can see it most of the times if your eyes are trained to see liquidity, especially the most obvious one, which is double tops, double bottoms, trend line liquidity, okay? And then there is some other forms of liquidity which are a little bit more hard to see, so just previous highs or previous lows, because some people might use the order block from that area when maybe it's just liquidity. And this really comes down to your understanding of market structure. Now, I will keep sharing every single week case studies and charts, and you should really pay attention to what I share and the videos that I share every week, because I will keep sharing case studies and backtesting files and stuff and get better based on that. Do you keep a stable risk percentage in each trade? I answered to that already. So yes, either 0.5 or 1% risk. How do you spot sell side and buy side liquidity? You should just watch the liquidity videos, to be honest. If you have a specific question, I can answer it, but this is just about liquidity in general, and liquidity in general is explained in the course. How can I build the psychology of a trader being patient? I believe that you should have a specific plan on what you are looking for, and then just execute that plan. Now, I understand that especially in the beginning, it's not easy to execute specifically your plan every time, and that you might go against your rules, but you should notice it. So if a trade either goes right or wrong, you should go back and see if you executed your plan. If you didn't execute your plan, then you should ask yourself questions on why you didn't, and you should try every time to execute your trading plan. So if, for example, your trading plan says that you will look for lower time frames confirmation only if we are at a 1 hour order block, and then you look for lower time frames confirmation in the middle of nowhere, then that's already against the plan, and you should try to not make the same mistake next time. Okay. Can I be consistent, consistently profitable, looking for 1 to 3 risk reward? Yes, I will recommend to try to look for more also. I mean, 1 to 3 is fine, but with time, you can refine and increase your risk reward. But even with just 1 to 3, you can be consistent, yes, and profitable. You like to trade just one pair? Can I use your strategy on the 5 minutes? I don't know if you went through the whole course, but it's pretty obvious that my strategy is not just one time frame strategy. It has more time frames together. So I'm not really understanding the 5 minutes question, because you cannot apply everything in 5 minutes. You cannot look for order blocks and also confirmation on the 5 minutes, because it wouldn't just work. In case, just ask a more specific question about this next time, please. Now there are some Italian questions. I will just translate them to English. What is the difference between supply and demand and support and resistance? And how do you find an order block? So difference between supply and demand and support and resistance is pretty obvious, and it's explained in the course. You just need to look at the supply and demand videos, and also how to find order blocks. Order blocks are supply and demand areas. It's just a different name for me. That this is how I call them. And again, it's explained in the supply and demand videos in the 1.0 course. So just go over it. It's not that I don't want to show you now. It's just that we have many questions and everything is in the course. So you are confused. Okay, for this, I will need to go to the videos and see how to answer to this later. What is the indicator for the kill zones? I haven't found it yet. Okay, so this is the indicator ICT kill zones. And the reason why many people are not finding it is because I modified some settings. So make sure that you go on style and visibility and that you copy what I have right here, because I didn't put many of these that there were. I removed these, kept all of this, and then removed these also. So you should check that the settings are the same, because like, as you can see, you might have the zones this way. Let me show you. Okay, like this, as you can see, but I removed that. So that's why it looks different, because maybe you are using the same indicator, but you didn't modify the settings. Okay. That's why many people are confused. Can you make a video about SW and LMS? Yes, of course. New videos will be added to the course. I always add new videos to the course. I always do case studies. So of course, yeah. For now, what I recommend you is just to go over the course and then look at the case studies that I share on Discord. Advice for someone who works full-time and doesn't have time for 1 minute confirmations. So if you're working full-time and you don't have time to look for confirmations, I recommend you to really pay attention to the higher time frame areas and probably execute with pending orders from those areas. You should just get better at selecting good order blocks and bad order blocks, and understanding market structure. Now, of course, you will get a better understanding also of which zones are better with my backtesting file that I will share in a few weeks. But even with what you have now, you should just focus on higher timeframes. Or if you are able, I'm not telling you to do it, but it depends on you. If you're able to look at your phone sometimes when you are working, you can set alerts in the morning or the day before at night on your higher time frame areas, and then when the alert goes off, you just go on your phone for, I don't know, 5 minutes and look if there is confirmation, okay? Or lower time frames. Let's see. How do you know where to take partials or close full trade? I almost never take partials. I usually just target my take profit, and sometimes I close before take profit, but I close the full trade. Okay, we have another question about the 5 minutes. Can we apply? Okay, this is more specific. Good. Can we apply the same strategy in 5 minutes and 1 minute time frame? I would say 5 minutes. What I understand from your question is that 5 minutes will be for key area, so order blocks, and 1 minute will be for confirmation. For all the order blocks, 5 minutes is a little bit too small for me. I would recommend at least 15 minutes for your key areas and then 1 minute for confirmation. That can work perfectly, yes. If you have a good understanding of the direction of the market and good key areas, then you can select good key areas on the 15 minutes, and then you look for 1 minute confirmation. That could really work well, yes. Yearly on my account, yearly, I don't know. Really, every year was different. Every year I'm getting better. So I don't know. How long are you FTMO trader? Honestly, I have always traded with my own capital, and then in October I decided to launch FTMO accelerated program here on my website. I'll show you here, this FTMO accelerated program for people who want to pass funding challenges. Is an educational program where I teach you the approach that you should have, the correct strategies, the correct things that you should look at. You also do more live trading with me. You also have one-on-one lessons and stuff. There is a specific risk management strategy to pass funding challenges also that we teach here. And I wasn't an FTMO trader yet. So I was like, I don't need FTMO for now, but I'm teaching people how to pass FTMO. And I never took an FTMO challenge or passed an FTMO challenge. So in November, I was like, I'll do it. I'll do an FTMO challenge just to prove that what I teach here works and that my students are passing funding challenges, but I can pass it basically. So it wasn't really to do anything else. It was more to prove that this was correct. And in November, I passed FTMO. It was a 40K account, and passed it and passed the verification, and that's it. So since a couple months. Now, I'm actually liking FTMO. I will keep trading with my own capital, but I'm also liking FTMO. And during this year, I want to get more accounts with FTMO to actually increase the capital which I'm trading with. If I can increase, it just increases also possibly the money that I make. So that's good. And then can FTMO be really good and safe to make a living from trading if you are profitable, of course? Yes, I have many students who went from learning to be an FTMO trader or a funded trader, and now they are doing that full time. So yes. How can I prepare for FTMO challenge? If you are consistent with your trading and you know the percentage that you're making, and you have done demo trading, a lot of backtesting, some live trading, keeping track of your percentage gain, then you should know that whether you are ready or not for FTMO. Yeah. This week I had 25 setups with your strategy, and I only had 3 stop losses, and all the remaining were with insane risk-reward ratio, but I'm afraid to execute my setups. So if you're afraid, I would say that there are either two problems. Maybe you have not backtested enough the strategy and therefore you're not confident, or you are risking too much money because you are probably afraid of losing that money. So if it's the first problem, then you should just backtest more and see how the strategy works. If it's the second problem, which is about money, you should just risk less money on you or use a smaller account for now. Because if you really had 25 setups and only 3 were stop losses, then you're doing great. You just need to be more confident. What determines your point of interest? Supply and demand areas with market structure and liquidity, and it's explained in the course. Okay, so this is a question in Italian, and I will read it and answer in English. When can you quit your job to live off trading? When you make more money trading than what you make with your job, I would say, or when you can cover all of your expenses, plus you can save some money in the bank just with trading. At that point, if you can pay your house, your car, your food, taxes and expenses, and also you can save some money in the bank, then consistently for some months, then you can start thinking about quitting your job and just get better with trading. Also, what are the costs of your accountants for Forex? So when I was in Italy, so until 1 year ago, I used to pay 70 euros per month, my accountants. Now I moved to the Canary Islands, and my accountants are 200 euros per month, actually 220, because it's 200 plus tax, so 220 euros per month. Can you give more example on lower time frames entries? Yes, they are coming. Also make sure to check the case studies. How can you differentiate between the liquidity grab and breakout structure? Again, this really comes down to liquidity and market structure. And if you have doubts, I really recommend you to take a look at all my trades, all my examples, both on my Instagram and also here on Discord, the case studies that I'm sharing and that I will keep sharing. Okay. Which hobby is more relevant on lower and higher timeframes? This is coming with the backtesting file, but it's already in the course. It will be just a little bit more refined in the backtesting file. Sometimes I have some doubts on lower timeframes confirmation. I can see that this is really a doubt that a lot of people have, and I will work on providing more content since I can see that there are many questions about this. I will work on providing more content about lower timeframes, so it's coming soon. How do we deal with Black Swan event? You don't. How many times in your lifetime has this happened? Once with COVID? You don't. You just lose money that day, then you take a week off because like last year when 2 years ago when COVID hit, market went crazy. You lose money because it's not predictable. Of course, it's not predictable, so you lose money that day. Maybe you hit a couple stop losses, but if you have good rules for trading, you take maximum 2 or 3 trades per day, and therefore you have a losing day, and it will not affect, like you will not lose all money if you know what you're doing, if you follow your rules and everything. And you don't deal in any way because it's not predictable. So I already showed the ICT kill zones. How do you backtest properly? So there are 2 ways in which you can backtest. It's either you're backtesting your whole strategy, so from higher timeframes to lower timeframes, entries and everything, or you're backtesting a concept. So for example, you're backtesting only good order blocks, or you're backtesting only lower time frame confirmations, or you're backtesting only market structure or liquidity. Okay. How can I correctly identify a breakout structure? You just need to have a good understanding of market structure. I shared many videos about it. And also in the case studies, I talk about it. Just go and go over it. Let's see. This is just like we're just saying what I have on my trading plan. Yeah. I also see many people confused about liquidity. I mean, I can understand people that want more lower timeframes confirmation concepts, and I will share it. Also make sure, as I said already, to check the case studies, because that's how they are applied, and I talk about it. But for liquidity, honestly, other than teaching you where is liquidity, how liquidity looks like, it really comes down to you to go on charts and get your eyes trained, because maybe market structure and order blocks, once I teach it to you, is a little bit easier to spot it and to see it if you follow the steps. But for liquidity, since it's a little bit more complicated to spot it, you just need to get your eyes trained to see liquidity. So you need to spend more time on charts, and that's it, and look for it. Just every time you're looking for a setup, always ask yourself if there is still liquidity left somewhere. Okay, still another question about lower timeframes. I will make videos about it. I don't understand why profitable traders teach. A system only works if not many traders are using it. Okay, this is not true. So, first of all, I will tell you why profitable traders teach, because profitable traders, and there are many, well, I would say on Instagram, there are many traders who are not profitable who are teaching, and that's not good. Of course, I hope you can differentiate between who is profitable and who's not. You can kind of see it. Usually profitable traders actually share stuff that you need. Non-profitable traders just post about lifestyle. Usually, I'm not saying every case, but usually. And for the second part, that a system, okay, so wait, why do profitable traders teach? Profitable traders teach because it's a way to differentiate your incomes. Honestly, it's just that you have your income from trading. Well, I'll talk about myself. I have my income from trading. I have my income from my investments, rental properties, just investments in general. And then I have my income from selling my knowledge, basically. And if there are a lot of people who have something against this, and I just believe that these people don't understand how money works and how to be an entrepreneur and how income differentiation works. If you only have one income, you are one step away from poverty, basically. If someone takes away that income from you, then you are basically not having an income anymore. Therefore, it's good to have more incomes. And this is just a concept that everyone should understand. And I really wish that everyone here that is listening will work on creating more incomes. There is the risk that that you will not work in the future. If many people understand it, there is not this risk for many reasons. First reason is because retail traders, so us, keep in mind that even if you trade with smart money, you are still a retail trader. So everyone who is not a bank or a financial institution is still a retail trader, even if you're using smart money concepts, just as definition. So us, retail traders, only make up 10% of the total market, okay? So only 10% of the money that is in the market is from us. We are a little portion. The market doesn't really care about us and how we trade. We are just so tiny of a portion, it doesn't matter. And also, even if many people are learning smart money and trading, there's still a high percentage of people that are not profitable, either because they cannot control their emotions or they're not learning from the correct source. So even if I teach to 2,000 people and all these people become profitable, so 2,000 people become profitable, the market will not care about 2,000 people. We're just so tiny of a portion of the total market. We don't even make up, like 2,000 people are not even 0.1% of total market. So there's no risk of this. Again, lower time frames confirmation. I will share more videos, and in the meantime, make sure to check the case studies. And also there is a lower time frames confirmation video. Just I will add for sure more stuff. Let's see, second question. I have an account size of $120. Honestly, instead of focusing on growing $120, I recommend you to work on a demo account and backtest a lot, and then take a funding challenge when you're ready. If you still have a trade open and it didn't reach take profit or stop loss by night, do you keep it open? It depends with which style I'm entering. If I'm entering an intraday position, I will probably close it. If I'm entering a position that I know already that could take some days to develop, then I keep it open. I did more example. Okay, but check the case studies here on Discord too, and I will share more examples, don't worry. Also, make sure to take part of the lives. We do one live trading weekly, and you can learn a lot from it. What are the pairs on your watch list? I said it already. How do you deal with news? I just stay away from high impact news. That's it. Or I make sure that my stop loss is at entry, basically. Do you only look at higher time frame order block area at discount premium? Or maybe you also have multiple order blocks close to each other. So I use discount and premium to find the best areas, but of course at discount there might be, if I'm looking for sales at premium, if I'm looking for sales, there might be two order blocks which are close to each other, both at premium. And in that case, I either look at the one that has the most confluence, for example, imbalance, manipulation, liquidity, or I look at both and I look where I have lower time frames confirmation. Entry types, again, it's coming. And which supply and demand is most likely to be broken or hold. Again, for the supply and demand, use premium and discount areas. And in the backtesting file, which is coming in a couple of weeks maximum, I will show you which order blocks, supply and demand areas I like better and work better. How to know perfectly premium and discount areas? Look at the video, please, in the course. How do I set my take profit and how to identify if market is grabbing liquidity? For liquidity, you need to understand liquidity first. And it's well explained in the course. I just believe that many people who are asking some questions here, I understand the lower timeframes questions, and I want to share more, of course, that it was already on my plans to make more videos. But for liquidity, I just believe it's really about looking again at the course, at the liquidity videos, and then looking at all my trade examples, because one thing is looking at the theory, and one thing is actually using it on real charts. And if you don't get your eyes trained to see certain things, you will not see them, even if I'm teaching them to you. So you need to spend time on charts and seeing where the market is grabbing liquidity and so on. For setting your take profit, you should look at either the next key area or at liquidity. So for example, if I'm entering here on GBP, JPY, if I'm entering sales, I'm not entering sales right now, but if I'm entering here, I'm entering here, I'm either targeting this demand, a lower demand. Okay, so for example, this lower demand right here. So I have my take profit before the area, or liquidity. So for example, if down here, I can have a double bottom, which there is not, but if, for example, there was a double bottom and therefore this was liquidity, then I can also target below liquidity, so below the double bottom, okay? When there is breakout structure, whenever I've checked that there was fake breakout or breakdown, then how do you avoid such things? I didn't understand the question, to be honest. If you want, you can DM me and we can see what you meant. I'm struggling to get used to the lot size I have to use. You should use a lot size calculator. It's pretty easy. You just put which pair you're trading, how many pips of stop loss you're using, and it gives you the lot size that you should use. You wait for specific hours. In the course, I say during which hours I trade. And it's the London and New York kill zone mainly. For aggressive or non-aggressive trade stop loss in the trade, it really depends on how good of a setup and also how good of a confirmation that I have. If I have really, really good setup and confirmation, I can go with aggressive stop loss. If the order block is not so clear and if the confirmation is not so clear, maybe I go with safe stop loss. Let's see how many questions we have. Okay. What conditions do you look in the market or setups to have wait, okay, we have this question already. Okay, same question. Second part is not opening of the course. Maybe you requested access not correctly. Yesterday I shared a video on how to request access correctly. Please look at it. It's pretty simple, but if you don't put your order ID or email, I don't accept the request. Can I pass FTMO and become profitable just by taking your trades? You can, but that's not why I created my community and everything. I created it to really teach you how to become profitable on your own. I have hundreds of students passing FTMO and becoming profitable. And it's just a matter of looking at the course, maybe more than one time, and then applying the concepts on charts and backtesting. You teach how to draw the order blocks, but yours are always bigger than the base candle. Things that people don't understand is that supply and demand levels, order blocks, whatever you want to call it, is the last up move before a down move or the last down move before an up move. And this is the order block refined, but the whole order block is this, the last up move before the down move that is breaking structure right here. And the up move starts from here. We start having an up move before the down move. Also, it might be because on the 1 hour, this is the order block, but in the 4 hours, this is the order block. So you're looking at it a little bit from the wrong perspective. Do you trade with daily objectives? No, because you can have a bad day with many stop loss, with 2 or 3 stop losses in a day. You can even have a bad week. I just look at my monthly returns and targets. Can you explain what's Ellie? If you're asking this question, you probably didn't watch the course, because in the first video of the 2.0 course, I clearly explain all my terminologies and stuff that I use. Ellie just means manipulation. And we want to use manipulation to our advantage, basically. When is the best time to place limit orders? There is no best time. When you have a good setup, you can place your limit order. I trade during New York and London kill zones, and that's my preference because my strategy works best on certain pairs during those hours, but it's not like there is a specific time where you should place limit orders. Is Algo Excel still legit? Any updates? Algo Excel is still legit. I would say it underperformed past performances. So this last year, it was around break even, which is not, of course, our goal, but it's great overall. In general, it gets around 35% yearly. As it's explained in the website, it's not the same as day trading bot. It's more swing trading, and it's more a form of investment rather than a form of trading. Of course, with trading, you can do way more than 30% in a year. But if you look at it from an investment point of view, the stock market gives 10%, 15% a year. And we wanted to use our algorithm just to be a form of investment so that it can give higher returns, basically. Again, lower time frames confirmation, it's coming. For now, just look at the case studies and my videos, but it's coming. I will add videos. I'm studying master's degree, postgraduate. How do I trade if I don't have time? Okay, so to backtest, I just recommend to backtest on TradingView. It's the best. And if you don't have time during London and New York, then look at charts during Asian session. But during Asian session, what I recommend to trade is GBP, JPY, NZD, JPY, and CAD, JPY. When do we move stop loss to entry? I move stop loss to entry if there are any news or if I have confirmation that we are breaking through downside. So for example, let's say that we have confirmation here that we break to the downside. I enter the trade here. Okay. Let's say that after this, something like this happens. So we break. I don't move stop loss to entry yet because there will be this supply. We come back, we reject this supply, we continue to the downside. At this point, I'm moving stop loss to entry. Maybe this is a little bit not the best example, as maybe supply is lower and we reject it from here. And at this point, after we have this break of structure, I will move stop loss to entry. Do you ever do one-on-ones? Yes, I do one-on-ones basically every week with people who paid for one-on-ones and people who have either this package with 2 hours on one-on-one included, or with the FTMO program students. Daily routine for a good trader. Honestly, everyone is different. Everyone should have his own unique routine. Some things that I really pay attention to is to exercise most of the days, whether it is lifting weights or surfing. For me, I used to play basketball, now I don't play anymore, but some physical activity to stay in shape and eat good. Never sleep like until, I don't know, 11, unless I'm either sick or if it's the weekend. Sometimes I sleep in during the weekend, but I'm saying in general. But a specific routine, it really comes down to you, honestly. Maybe I like to exercise in the afternoon, but you prefer to exercise in the morning before trading. This really comes down to you. Yeah. Scalping strategies you use as well. Lately, I've been focusing mostly on intraday. I used to scalp too with the fibs. Now I will still recommend the fib strategy to scalp, but I'm more focusing on intraday right now. And you have improved, much better understanding of the market. I'm really glad. I'm glad it was helpful for you. How do you find the point of interest area? Man, no, it's okay, really. I understand, but it's explained in the course, clearly explained in the course. Market structure, liquidity, supply and demand areas. If price touches an order block on the 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, but on higher time frames, it creates equal highs and equal lows, what do we do? I'm not understanding the question, as it should be the opposite. First, we look at higher time frames, order blocks, and then we look at lower time frames confirmation, not the opposite, that we're looking at lower time frames and then we check what's happening on higher time frames. It's the opposite. Can we use Excel algo to pass prop firm challenges? You can. It's not something I recommend because it's more, as I said, it's more long-term approach. Maybe it enters only one trade in 1 month. Sometimes it enters 3 trades in a week. So it really depends. It's not something that I recommend, as it's more long-term. Stop loss to break even, I already explained. How do we know if structuring the market is good for setups or not? Because sometimes structure looks very aggressive. I don't understand what good structure and bad structure means. I just look at the direction of the market with market structure and then trade from order blocks, supply and demand areas, if I like those areas, if those are good areas, basically. Maybe for good and bad market structure, you mean if we are trending or consolidating? Of course, I usually avoid when we are consolidating, so just going sideways. That's a no for me. I'm new here, I subscribed, but I also entries, I don't see you provide them. I do provide entries sometimes. For now, I'm providing the setups that I have, and then based on what I'm teaching you, you just need to look for confirmation. Sometimes I will also show you confirmation on lower time frames on Discord. Okay. What is Ellie? I answered already. So this is all for the questions. I hope you like them. I will do it more often if you did like them. Just a reminder that today, January 26th, I opened, let me show you right here. I opened the lifetime upgrade, which means that if you have the monthly, 3 months or yearly subscription and you don't want to pay the subscription, you can just upgrade to lifetime. I opened this option today. You can upgrade to lifetime. So you just have access forever, basically. And it's a lower price compared to what I have on my website, of course, since it's an upgrade. That's it. Thank you for watching. And if you liked it, I will do it again.